I'd say I constantly have pain, but I'm used to it.
16-year-old Kian January just wants to be a regular teenager, football mad, and a gamer. His life changed dramatically 3 years ago when he thought what were growing pains from puberty turned out to be something highly unusual.
When you realized that the swelling and the pain is getting increased, what did you think it was?
I thought it was because I was playing soccer that it caused the pain, or maybe I injured myself while playing.
Medical science has shown that Kian is 1 in 100,000. He was born with a rare condition that causes extreme pain and swelling in his right leg. It's called lymphedema, a chronic condition in which his limbs swell up because his body's lymphatic system is blocked. Imagine a drain pipe which takes dirty dishwater out of a sink. In a similar way, the lymphatic system filters harmful waste out of the body. Without it, toxins that are in the body can't drain out.
Lymphedema usually affects the arm or the leg, but it can affect other parts of the body as well. The condition can cause long-term physical, psychological, and social problems for patients.
Kian's condition, known as a vascular malformation, is a form of primary lymphedema. The only way he can manage the swelling is by wearing specialized compression garments, and it's not comfortable. Kian experiences pain and intense pins and needle sensations in his leg constantly.
Are you wearing a compression garment?
Yes.
What does it feel like wearing that?
It helps with the blood flow and the swelling also that it uses it.
For years, no one was able to help Kian with his debilitating pain. That was until he met vascular surgeon Dr. Laura Redman in 2020, who has been something of a medical fairy godmother for Kian and his family.
A good role model for many children with malformations.
Dr. Redman is a super specialist. As a surgeon, she enjoyed the intricacies of the arteries, veins, and vessels that carry blood through the body. It's taken 13 operations, but Dr. Redman's helped to manually reduce the swelling in Kian's right leg to a point where he may still play football for Liverpool someday.
I'm hoping that after all the ops and physio-wise, getting back to walking without crutches, that I can play soccer again at least, because I haven't played in like years.
But there's more to lymphedema than just being a congenital condition. For years, it's been called cancer's dirty little secret. But it's a secret that people fighting cancer are often the very last to hear about, and only then when parts of their bodies are already swelling up. After beating cancer twice, a monumental accomplishment, Simone Blackenberg gave birth to a baby boy in 2013. Soon after, she noticed some swelling in her leg.
Yeah, it was almost within 2 or 3 days, literally. The lymph fluid just started to pool in my leg.
Just like that, Simone was initiated into the secret that affects millions of cancer survivors globally: secondary lymphedema, the aftershock of cancer surgery.
I had no lymph glands to be able to essentially move the lymphatic fluid out of my limb, and so it just sat there, and my limb literally almost doubled overnight.
Anyone who has surgery of the lymph nodes in the armpit or the groin. So most of those surgeries are cancer surgeries. So it can be lymphoma or gynecological cancer, prostate cancer, and then radiotherapy will additionally damage the lymphatics and affect either the leg or the arm in that way.
It felt like I wanted to explode.
Constantly?
Yeah, all the time.
Explaining it may be simple, but the treatment is notoriously difficult. Until now, patients faced a life of trying to relieve discomfort with exercise, compression garments, and specialized massages.
In the past, lymphedema patients would have to wear something like this, a compression garment, which was the main way they could manage the condition. But thanks to a groundbreaking procedure called debulking, they can now live a somewhat normal life.
After years of watching her lymphedema patients endure pain and suffering, Dr. Redman decided it was time to find a solution. In 2019, she traveled to Sweden to train with world-renowned plastic and reconstructive surgeon Dr. Hakan Brosen, who first patented a surgery called debulking. On the face of it, debulking looks a bit like liposuction.
So it's a power-assisted liposuction, but it's not normal lipo because you're not going in areas. It's the entire limb and huge volumes, and he designed cannulas to remove this tissue.
Dr. Redman became the only specialist on the continent that can do debulking, and she's been changing lives ever since.
So the whole idea is to make the limb more functional and the same size as the other. So we get the volume down, but because we can't cure lymphedema, so we haven't fixed the underlying cause, to ensure it doesn't recur, they have to be in lifelong compression, day and night.
In March 2020, Simone was the first patient in Africa to undergo the procedure.
So how are you doing, Simone, after
Good.
2 years?
Yeah, it's been an amazing, life-changing procedure.
Simone's debulking surgery took 7.5 hours. Dr. Redman was able to remove 4 liters of fluid from her right leg.
Within 2 weeks, I was exercising again. Within 3 weeks, I went and bought myself a whole new wardrobe.
I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
In June 2021, Alexis Yap became the second patient to undergo debulking. In remission for over a decade for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, Alexis awoke one day with her arm double its size.
I thought I'd been bitten by something because it was really hot and red, and I thought I had an allergic reaction.
But after a few days, her arm just got worse, and her lymphedema misdiagnosed repeatedly.
Nobody could tell me what it was at first, was never told about it by any of my oncologists or any of my doctors, that this could be a side effect.
Alexis had become something of a patient advocate to try and prevent the needless suffering she experienced by not understanding the condition.
If you know about it, you can be in the correct compression, you can see the correct physios, you can avoid stuff that makes the lymphedema worse.
Because lymphedema is lifelong, the financial burden can be as crippling as the physical. Simone fought with her medical aid for years to get them to cover her surgery and treatment costs. You were in pain, you were suffering, and the medical aid wasn't understanding this at some point and seeing this procedure as cosmetic.
This wasn't liposuction because I had some cellulite in my bum and I didn't like it. Firstly, it was related to cancer, and secondly, it was completely debilitating for me and was leading to huge long-term physical implications. And so getting them to understand that was quite something.
Meanwhile, as doctors continue to search for a cure for lymphedema, Simone says that 2 years post-surgery, she's feeling just swell, this time for all the right reasons.
Life is really dramatically different from both a physical perspective, a mental perspective, physiologically. It's been a complete miracle, actually. While life-saving cancer treatments can be harsh on the body, they can also cause potential long-term side effects that add to sufferers' physical and emotional trauma. It's a breakthrough new surgery that spells hope for what many call cancer's dirty little secrets.
It is one thing to have survived cancer, but the impact of lymphedema has a severe effect on quality of life. So when the limb gets huge, they get musculoskeletal problems, pain, infections, a lot of problems with it.
It's a common side effect of cancer treatment that causes extreme pain and swelling in the legs and arms. Now, a first for Africa procedure is helping cancer survivors reclaim their quality of life.
Major hip issues. I think if I hadn't have had this debulking operation, I would have landed up having to have a hip replacement without a doubt.